review. We're here on Friday morning. I'm here with Bill, and I'm here with a special guest down below me. I don't know if he's down below you on Bill's screen, but he's down below me. How you doing, Thomas?
Doing good, guys. Thanks for having me on here, man.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. We're here to talk baseball, and if you guys don't know, Thomas is a great baseball guy. You should follow him on Instagram. Always posted stuff on 755 Chop Talk.
Hmm.
So
he's okay. He's okay.
I mean, if you can't see me now, I do have my golf hat on. The Braves are mode.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, Thomas, so we don't have to talk about that this week. So
I got my 48 hours. I'm now fine. I had to cope for a second. I had to calm myself down because that was a letdown there. It was big balloon of a regular season just to be popped by the Phillies 2 years in a row.
Listen, Jackson, I had the best conversation. It wasn't the best for him, but probably the best postseason conversation I've had in years. When I called Thomas to confirm something, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm making pancakes." "Why are you making pancakes?" "It's my comfort food. I'm still depressed, but I'll get out of it in 24 hours. I don't have a depression food, Thomas. So I've realized that maybe I need to get me a depression food.
Need to get one, man. Yes.
It's a good choice, Bill. I think that's a life choice everybody needs to make. So
There you go. I'll work on getting my depression food going.
all right. As always, we each will give our top three of the week. Thomas, why don't you start us off? What's your number one?
Number one, it's okay to lead from the middle of the pack. Because if you look at all these current playoff teams, none of them were top of the leagues. The top 5 teams in the league for the regular season, they're all sitting at home watching the playoffs. So it's okay to lead from the middle. Just make it to the playoffs and you're good. Just make it in. That's all that matters. Number 2, Houston is
hold on.
Hold on. We go one at a time, baby. Don't be jumping the gun here. It's one at a time. This guy,
one at a time.
Number 2, number 3. Okay, the show's over. Thanks for jumping on. Man, Thomas, can't we speak? Come on now. Woo!
Okay, go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
All right, Bill. Why don't you follow up?
I love that it's okay to lead in the middle of the pack. I'm gonna say stop, everybody. Number 1, if you are going to be in the playoffs, stop expanding the zone. I talked about this yesterday in the leagues. Do not expand the zone anymore. You've got to stop that because pitchers, and especially when you're pitching or you're batting against curveball specialists like Frommer is in Houston, don't expand the zone. Make him come to you. I'm seeing too many pitchers expand the zone, and the batter's letting them, and it's not awesome. It's not awesome. So that's my number 1. If you're going to be successful in the playoffs, you've got to play fundamental baseball, and you cannot expand the zone. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not?
There you go. So, Jackson, what's your number 1?
How about we talk about the hottest man on the planet, that bad man, that Yordan Alvarez. He's got 6 home runs in the playoffs. He should have had a 7th last night, but Leody Taveras said no. Do you know what the expected batting average on that ball was, Bill?
Expected batting average on that ball?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is why you're the top fan stats guy. I have no
based
clue.
Off 1,000, based off stat 100% of the time before last night.
Wow.
Okay, that's a statistic, Thomas, that nobody ever knew, and we never knew that people actually looked that up. But all right, okay.
He's top fan stats guy for a reason.
Yeah, amen, man. That's it. Thomas, we should just drop the mic right now and go home. This is ridiculous. I mean,
hold on. I didn't mean to do that. I'm just telling you interesting stuff.
Okay,
that's what really stuck out to me. But I think the Rangers key to win.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong, Bill.
No. Rangers came to win. Rangers showed up, and it will be interesting to see how this series plays itself out.
Yeah, so that's my number 1. So Thomas, let's head back to you, number 2.
Number 2, going to the Houston Astros, away field advantage,
Yeah.
because they love playing away. Try to take them out as much as you can when they're home, and then just pray to God your fans can do something else that the other fans couldn't, because they love playing on the road this playoff series.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Amen.
and the funny thing is Houston, not only do they like playing on the road, they like playing in Arlington. I saw another wacky Astro stat for you guys. Jose Altuve only hit 5 home runs at home this year. He hit 8
That's pretty funny.
and like a 10th as many games. So you know, they've been to the ALCS 7 times in a row for a reason. And I think we're seeing why. It's because, you know, you can get up 2-0 on them and you're still afraid the footsteps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, what you got, Bill?
So I'm going to stick in Houston, and I'm going to ask you boys a question. We just talked about Jordan for a second. I'm going to ask you, and I hate using this term like this, but I'm going to use it anyway. Does Jordan Alvarez get the Barry Bonds treatment? Why are we still pitching to this guy? Last night, or I'm sorry, not last night, 2 nights ago, he comes up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And I believe they're up, 2 runs, I believe, or something like that. And I said, walk him. I was texting Houston people and Texas people, which is weird. Yes, I know that Houston's in Texas, but I was texting Rangers fans and Astros fans. How's that? And I said, walk him. Worst case scenario, if you walk him, you walk in a run. Best case scenario is you walk in a run. Best case scenario for the Astros, they score 5. And what happened? He got that base hit, and they scored 2. On a base hit, he doesn't have to hit the ball out of the yard. On a base hit, you score 2. On a walk, you score 1. Walk him. The guy's the hottest man on the planet right now. The ball is coming in like a beach ball, just sitting on a tee to him. He is just killing it. So I want to ask you boys, I know both of you guys played baseball growing up, and you guys have both watched a lot of games. Would either one of you walk him, even in that scenario?
Yes. The key to winning the series is not to pitch to Jordan Alvarez. Make anybody else beat you, but you cannot. That home run that was robbed. Did you see what pitch that was, Bill?
Mm-hmm.
It was a changeup about 3 inches off the plate, and he almost hit it. What, 404 to left center field?
Yeah,
just walk
seen
him.
Everything. That home run that exactly, the home run he hit at Minute Maid Park, the last one that he hit, was a low fastball that he just muscled and just turned on. The guy is just doing everything. So, Thomas, would you walk him?
I'm not walking him. I've only seen maybe 3 total people that I would give the Barry Bonds treatment to, and Barry Bonds being one of them. I'm giving him straight balls in the dirt. I'm giving him balls 8 inches off the plate since he wants to hit the 3 inches one. I'm not giving him the Barry Bonds treatment.
Okay. Interesting.
He's not perfect. I'm not doing it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. That's fair enough. It's fair enough.
That's fair.
Now let's watch how the rest of the series plays out, because let me tell you, the rest of the series is going to be awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. All right.
All right. I guess it's my turn to go again.
Mm-hmm.
I will take the heat off the playoff talk for a second. Let's talk about the contemporary baseball era or for the Hall of Fame. There's some names on here you might recognize, Bill. And I want you to tell me how many of these guys are Hall of Famers. Excuse me. So there's Cito Gaston, Davey Johnson, Jim Leland, umpire Ed Montague, Hank Peters, who was an executive, Lou Piniella, and then Cowboy Joe West. So,
okay.
Who would you vote for out of those?
You talking
people?
about managers or players?
These are managers. There's
okay. Both the umpires I would get in. Cowboy Joe.
Managers, 4 managers, a couple executives.
Yeah, both umpires get in. They serve their time, and they, we're not talking about. I won't mention names here, but we're not talking about like Angel Hernandez here. But I don't want to mention names like Angel Hernandez. But yeah, no, I would let both of those guys in. As far as managers are concerned, um, believe it or not, Jim Leland was a very, very good manager, and he took some very unique teams all the way. I don't know. I don't know if I let any of those managers in though. I I don't know.
No Lou Piniella.
Okay. So tell me, when did Lou Piniella win a World Series?
1990.
With who?
Let's see who won in
The Reds.
1990. The Reds. Yeah.
The Reds against A's club. Now, after that, how many times did he win a World Series?
0.
Okay. And he had some pretty good teams. And how many times did he take them to even the dance? Forget all the way to the dance. Just how many times did he get him to the dance?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but careful. He might blame what's his face in Chicago.
yeah. He can blame any Chicagoite that he wants. I don't know. I don't know if any of those names get in. They're very good managers. They were very good managers, but again, those are managers that are in the Hall of Very Good, right? Now Bobby Cox to me, first ballot guy. You want to mention people like Bobby Cox? I'd say yeah. You want to mention even guys like Mike Scioscia. He managed some very bad Angels teams, but got him to the dance. So what would I do? I don't know.
I was just curious because this was more the contemporary area is more your forte before
Yeah.
my time. So just wanted to hear your take on that.
Yeah. No. Thomas, do you have any of those that you let in?
Like Jackson just said, that was before the time that I started paying attention to baseball. So that's out of my realm there.
They were all, let me tell you, they were all good managers, all very, very good managers. The problem is I don't think they did enough for their clubs. So when you look, I've been getting IMs for 2 weeks now asking me, should Dave Roberts come back? Should Dave Roberts come back? Should Dave Roberts come back? And I said, yes, it wasn't Dave Roberts' fault that Mookie and Freddie went 1 for 21. Nothing to do with Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts Tommy Lasorda went to 4 World Series, 77, 78, 81, and 88. He won in 81. He won in 88. Dave Roberts went to 17, 18, and 20. He won in 20. If he stays on this same pace and he manages for another, I think it's like 8 years, he'll have a better winning percentage and more wins than Tommy Lasorda. So it's hard to say that certain managers just, they are what they are. And so there are guys like Joe Girardi that shouldn't even be on a list anywhere ever, but we're still a little young in Joe Girardi's career. So, yep. But good call.
All right, Thomas, you're number 3. What do you got for us?
Okay. The hype at the bank is real. The Philadelphia Phillies are 6-0 in the playoffs at home. I was nervous just seeing them coming up that we're going to have to play again. Their home atmosphere is something that I have only seen a handful of times. It's ridiculous. You have to have very thick skin to be able to play there, and then you have to have steel skin to be able to play well there. So the bank is real.
It is. It is. Jackson's been there, so he'll tell you.
Several times, yeah. They don't like Braves fans, Thomas. Not a fun place.
I look forward to going there.
And Thomas brought that up on the live on Wednesday in the leagues when I had Jamie, the Philly sports guy, on. And Jamie said, yeah, we do, Jamie will show love to anybody, Thomas. I mean, he's just that good of a guy. Now, I'm sure there's some Philly fans. There are some Philly fans that I know very well that will not show love to Braves fans. Let's just get that on record.
And I look forward to it. I minded in trash talk. I'm gonna go with it the whole way.
Oh boy. All right. Jackson, I got my number 3. It's pretty simple.
All right.
Okay. My number 3 is overall. Overall, you have to remember that it doesn't matter If you limp into the dance, it's what you do when you're at the dance. And on paper, and this is why the games aren't played on paper, the National League Championship Series should have been the Dodgers and Braves. The American League Championship Series probably should have been exactly who it is, the Rangers and the Astros. But it's not played on paper, and you've got to play the game well in October. And I've said this a few times on the live, but people need to understand this. Very simple. When you go on a losing streak, when it's best out of 162 games, you can afford to go on a 5 or 7 or 8 losing streak and bounce back. When it's best out of 3 or best out of 5 or best out of 7, you can't go on a losing streak, period. And so I'm not willing to say that it's, oh, gee, it's because of the time off and people aren't getting mentally there. I'm not willing to say that. I know that one of you probably here will disagree with me on that, which is fine. But I want to say that everybody needs to understand that they're all professional athletes and they need to step it into high gear. Go ahead, Thomas.
No, I was just saying I will be the one that disagrees with you that I hate how long that break is. I wish they would take the wild card back down to 1 game. But hey, that's another conversation for another episode.
Yeah. And Thomas, you do have a good point, but my only point to that is when you have like 2021, okay, and this didn't affect you guys, but when you have 2021 and you're the Dodgers and you win 109 games or 108 games and you get beat out by a team that wins 109 games and you're playing a 1-game playoff against a team that won 84 games, when you've won 20 more games than your opponent and it's 27 outs away from elimination, that's difficult. Now, again, the 3-game, the 5 days off is no different than the All-Star break. But in the All-Star break, you still have best out of 72, 80 games. So you don't have to be on target. So I get what you're saying, Thomas. Boy, you and I, at the end of the season, we're going to have a nice podcast with several people on there. And we're going to go through this pretty good. So, yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Jacksonis, what's number 3?
Well, number 3 is going to be another baseball stat, Bill.
I love it. Bring it.
All right. With his home run last night, Jose Altuve became second. First all-time in postseason home runs. Do you know who's ahead of him? He's in second place with 25. Jose Altuve. The first place guy's got 29.
So I got a couple of guesses there without looking it up. I got a couple of guesses. Thomas, would you might know who it is?
I don't know who it is, but I want to go with the Yankee just because the Yankees are always, always, always in the playoffs, at least in my entire lifetime. So I'm going to go with like a.
Interesting. Bill, who do you got?
My one would be a former Angel, a former Yankee, and a former Oriole in Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson. That's also a good guess. But did you know it's actually Cleveland Indians legend Manny Ramirez?
Wow.
Cleveland Indians legend.
hey, he had like 165 RBIs that 1 year in Cleveland. He went absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
29 home runs.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting statistic because I didn't. Yeah, I would have thought it was Reggie Jackson because he used to murder the ball in the late 70s.
Yeah, guess who's 4th on the list?
Thomas Brown.
Yeah.
I was never a home run hitter. It's not me.
It's actually Derek Jeter's actually in 4th with 20 home runs.
Wow.
So there's an interesting stat.
Derek Jeter spends 80% of his career in the playoffs. Come on.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
In the playoffs, so
yes.
Yeah, that's an interesting statistic because you don't think about. I mean, people forget that Manny played with Cleveland, and Cleveland had those really, really good years in the 90s. Really good years in the 90s. Never closed the door, never got everything done, but they had some really good years in the 90s.
Oh, they had some teams.
Yeah.
They had some lineups that you look at on paper and you go, how did you not win the World Series? And then you look at the pitching staff and you go,
You're like, okie dokie. Um, Jackson, any honorable mentions?
I don't have any honorable mentions. Thomas, do you want to throw an honorable mention on if you have one?
None here.
How about you, Bill?
My only honorable mention is I think that there are some players that aren't going to get enough publicity in Arlington or enough. Like Evan Carter is and Josh Young are going to be very, very good players over time, but they're overshadowed by people like Mad Max and Corey Seager and El Bombi. And so they're overshadowed by certain players, but they're very, very, very good and very talented. These are guys that you're going to hear a lot about, along with guys like Ellie De La Cruz in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So they will become household names.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, do you know why his nickname is El Bombi?
Yes.
Well, for me, I don't. So please tell me.
His childhood friend gave him the nickname. It's because his head looks like a
Why? That reminds me of my childhood nickname. I was a blow pop because the blow pop, just huge head, skinny stick. I had a skinny body, huge head. I mean, that was me as a kid.
El Bombi. That's Thomas.
I had the same size head now. Back then, when I was 2 years old, just trying to walk around, and then as soon as my head starts tilting, my body would go the same way.
Thomas is El Bombi Jr.
El Bombi Jr.
There you go. Well,
All right.
we
I think that wraps it up for us this week, though.
It does. And I have to say, for those of you that don't know, Thomas and Jackson have done a fantastic job creating a podcast called Chop House Chatter. It's Brave centric, but it's also very much baseball centric. So please, by all way, shape, or form, follow them on YouTube. Pay attention to what they're doing, and just check everything out. They do a lot of good material and a lot of good stuff. So it's pretty exciting to have both of them on at the same time. And as usual, I always love having Thomas on, and Jackson. You and I are doing this every week is always a ton of fun for me. So thanks for spending your Friday with us, everybody. I mean, we love doing these for Friday morning, and I hope you're following them and following TopFanRivalry as well on social medias, including YouTube. So Thomas, should we do this again? Should we get the three of us? Should we get the band back together again at some
Let's
point,
do
or
it.
is it just one and done?
No, let's do it. I'm always if I'm available, I'm jumping in.
Perfect. Perfect. Jackson, thank you so much. TopFanRivalry followers, thanks for being here, and we will talk to you guys soon. Have a good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're at.